Hey everyone, it's Tiffany from Let's Get Scrappy, and I am back with a Country Craft Creations design team project. We are doing the tutorial for this 5.5 by 6.5 Halloween mini album, and I already have a walkthrough video on my channel, so be sure to check that out. The link will be in the description box if you haven't already. But we're gonna go ahead and get started with the tutorial. This should, I say that knowing myself, but it should come together really fast. This is, you need 2 pieces of chipboard that is 5.5 by 6.5, and then we're gonna cover that with 2 pieces that are 7.5 by 8.5 cardstock for the spine, 1.5 by 6.5 for the chipboard, and then I don't know why I'm writing so tiny, 4.5 by 8.5 for the cardstock. And then for the inside piece that I didn't cover, I mean, of course not, that is going to be a little bit less than 6.5, so 5 by 6.5 is what you'll need to cover the inside spine once we get it together. I already have one piece covered. I am playing with different ways of covering my mini album, so just do it the way that you like to do it. I do already have the back covered here. For this one, I put score tape on the back, but you can also use wet adhesive. You can use your spacers, but basically what we like to have is just an inch border around the paper. And then you're just gonna burnish that down really good. Oh my gosh, she's gonna come in here and now clean herself. My dog, that is. Just in case you didn't catch it, that she had to come into my room as I started recording. Shug, stop that. That didn't work. She ignored me completely. Pit bulls are really good at ignoring you whenever they want to. Whenever they want to. Shuggy, no. Thank you. Okay, so we are just getting our tape on there. I'm using 3/8 of an inch score tape, but you can use a 1/4 inch if you do score tape for your cover. It's a little bit less wasteful. Or you could use your wet adhesive. I mean, I probably shouldn't be doing my playing with the ways I do my cover on a tutorial, but you know, you guys like to see if there's mistakes or different ways, and then you could decide for yourself what you like. Okay, so let's make sure all of this is burnished down. I think I haven't checked. I should check. I know it was close to being sold out, this collection, which is PhotoPlay's Halloween Junk. The kit, I don't remember, I don't remember if she has singles for this. So if you do want this collection and it is still available, I'd hurry because like I said, there was small amounts left. So I'm just cutting, mitering my corners. I leave about 1/8 of an inch. It really only needs to be like 1/16 of an inch. I mean, I should probably cut that one a little closer. But if you have mitering tools, you can use that to do your books. I just wing it. If it's too short, oh well. I've shown in several videos how you can fix it if you cut too close to the chipboard. You just take one of the scrap corners that you cut off and glue it down just right here on the chipboard like this before you stick everything down, and it covers it up. Okay, so I'm just gonna do my long sides for the moment. And you'll see why. So I like to put glue up against the chipboard. I'll do both sides right now. Fold down and over. I don't want to go all the way onto my table with this other side wet. So burnish all around it. Get a nice good stick. Let's do, oh, I already took that off. There we go. Okay, we're gonna do the other side. And normally, I don't know why I didn't do it this one, but normally I will bend the paper. Did I? I mean, I don't remember doing this. No, I did not do that. Just to get the paper a little bit more flexible before I stick it all down. Okay. My brain, I have so many like creative ideas in my head. Today it has been crazy. I have like stopped to hurry up and start a project that's in my head before I forget what the heck I was thinking. So I have like 5 projects on my table just started, so that way I remember what it was I was gonna do. I know, crazy. Sometimes there's nothing in there, and sometimes there's an overload. Just make sure, especially if you're using wet adhesive, that it is burnished down. I mean, any adhesive, you want it burnished down really good. So that way there's no bubbles, no lifting. Let's see, I have a little nubby. I don't know if you guys can see it. Nope, nope. What's that? Oh, maybe that's just me leaning up against the desk. It's like I do not need anything else going on my hand. Okay, I just like to clean up if I have little nubbies. Okay, so we have, oh, I didn't want to do that. Darn it, I wasn't thinking. Okay, so I'm doing it the old way. What, I'll show you guys on this one, just real quick, what I was going to do, but because I'm not used to it and I was talking, I just kept folding my paper. So this is the chipboard or the spine piece, and on this one, we leave 1-inch border top and bottom, and then 1.5 on the sides. And if, for some reason, you had a scrap that was smaller than this 4.5, but will still work, like say it was 4 inches, it would work. It'll be fine. Just saying. You don't always have to have it exactly 1.5. I've done it plenty of times because I'm cheap and I don't like to waste paper. So I'll take whatever is left on my table. But that's kind of the rule of thumb to give it that really big, nice wing. Okay, so we're gonna cut this. I'm just cutting on the folds. So this fold line to that fold line. Giving it a little miter. I'm gonna put a little bit of tape on here. And I'm going to add some bubble glue down in there. Shug, it was just me slipping. Why are you always so scared? Such a baby. You're such a scary dog. Stop looking at me and look back down. Goodness. Okay, and I'm gonna place my scissors up against my chipboard, give it a slight angle. Not much. Do the other side. Push it down and over. I should have my mat up here, and I don't. Meaning up on the desk. It's over on the other table, of course. Am I in frame? Yes, I am. Okay. A little miter. Like so. Okay, so what I have been trying in my other tutorials, or not tutorials, my other projects, is I have been putting my wings there and then putting this over so it kind of covers up all the excess like layers. But I can't do that now that I did that with the other one. So we're gonna do it back to the other way. And I do need a 1/4 inch. Let me get my other tape. Got a brand new one right here. Oh, I probably should close this up. Let's do that. Down and over. Now this side. Add a little glue. She's probably trying to figure out who the heck I'm talking to in here by myself. So she probably thinks it's her. She keeps scooting closer to me every time I'm talking. Shuggy, go lie down. I don't know why you came in here. You don't like being in a room with the doors closed. Hmm? What? Why are you staring at me? That pit bull stare. There you go. Lay down and stare at me. Okay, it's gonna hurt your neck. And let's get this little nubby. Okay. Now I'm gonna add my score tape here. And I just leave, again, about 1/8 of an inch from the chipboard part down. Why you keep looking at me, Bugs? Why are you looking at me? I'm just gonna make sure I fold this a couple times. Okay. I'm gonna add some glue. Let me do a dry fit real quick. And if it didn't fit, it was going on there anyways. It was still gonna go down. Okay. So I just like to hold mine. You can put yours in your scoreboard. Make sure everything's lined up if that's easiest for you. Let me do it this way because I do like to leave a little bit. Is it even moving? There we go. And then you throw it, and then I scared her again. She's such a chicken. Shuggy, you're a nervous wreck. Get out of here. Girl. You can't be in a craft room and worried about noises, because there's lots of noises happening. Okay, same thing with this side. I'm going to take that off. Add our wet adhesive to glue combo here. And when I'm doing this, I'm feeling that it's lined up here as well as there before I push it into place. And sometimes it could be off a little bit, I promise. It doesn't matter. If it's off a lot, it might look a little crazy, but a little bit, no one else is gonna notice. You just keep going, add your things, and it looks great. It's handmade. Okay, so we have all that on there. So now we're gonna put this part on there, but I wanna do a little dry fit just to make sure. Okay, add our adhesive. I'll do it top and bottom here. Okay, now I'm gonna add some score tape, like old school method. I feel like this helps with potential cracking so it doesn't happen. But again, that's just in my head. I don't know. I just keep trying different things. Now she wants out. This is what she does. She hits the door until I open it, and she won't stop until she's in. And then she'll go to the door and stare at me because she hears her dad down there doing stuff. This is not good. Doing tape with a cut on your finger. It's not even a bad cut, but it keeps pulling the skin off. I'm so sorry. It's disgusting. Disgusting. Where's my bone folder? So I'm gonna burnish, burnish, burnish. I swear I take the longest with the covers, but it is worth it, even though I hate doing the covers. I hate, like I hate doing the building, and I hate doing the finishing. I just like the paper matting part. It's still, I mean, it's pretty, yes, when it's done, but those are not my favorites at all. Oops. Okay. Bubble. So I'm just adding a little bit of wet adhesive. The score tape, make sure that it is totally sealed on the ends. And then I do the middle to make sure it gets the spine good. The bubble's a little crazy. I don't want that seeping out. Okay. Now let me turn here, and we're just going to center that the best you can. He's making his smoothie downstairs. Okay, so burnish this really good, but you have to be fast before that art glitter glue dries on you. Starts doing the snap, crackle, pop. Okay, so I'm using Country Craft Creations Speckletoned because I think I'm going to do one of the Christmas, her new Christmas lines. I just haven't decided which one I want to do, but that was the vote, was Christmas. So I'm choosing this Speckletoned because I really like the feeling of this paper, this cardstock. Okay, so now we have this. Now we're going to go through what you need to cut for for the rest of the book. Oh my gosh. So all the cardstock. Let me just clear this off really quick. And let her out. Okay, come on, Shook. Go ahead. Go ahead, go. Oh my gosh. Kill me now. Kill me now. Girl, can you make up your mind? Okay, so here is what we need somewhere. Okay, we are going to start. I'm gonna grab all the pieces here. Now she goes back to the door. Oh my goodness, she's killing me. So for the left side, you are going to need, and again, if you're new to my channel and you're making this, I typically cut my big pieces. So like I did my cover, I get that. And then like the little pieces I get from cutoffs. So that's how I do it. Any of my matte pieces I get from cutoffs, or I do those at the end. But what you're gonna need is a piece that is 5.5 by 6.5. And we're just gonna score a 1/2 inch on one side. And then a piece that is 5 by 6.5, score a 1/2 inch on the 5 right there. This just stacks on top of each other. Did I show the pocket? I don't remember. But the pocket on the left side, inside cover, is 3 by 7.5. And we're gonna score a 1/2 inch on 3 sides. So really easy. And then 2 pieces, these 2 are flaps that go on top of this element, and it is 4 3/4 by 3 1/4, and then we score a 1/2 inch on the 4 3/4 side. So we have that there. Then we're gonna have a booklet for that side. Oh, it's so dark. Oh my goodness, it's so dark. Okay, I was just gonna have to do 9.5 by 5 3/4. And then we score basically in half at 4 3/4 to create our booklet. So it's just nice and easy, just like that. There's our booklet. For our belt and buckle, we're gonna have one piece that is 4.5 by 1. You can make yours any size you want. If you want your belt wider, you can make it wider than the 1 inches. I'm trying to get all this glue off my fingers. At least it's blending in with the cut. Okay, and then we're gonna score in our scoreboard. I have it upside down, but we're gonna score a 1/2 inch and then 5/8 of an inch right there. Next, and I do this so some people like to take pictures of each piece, so that's why I like to bring this close. This one is 3.5 by 1, and we're gonna score a 1/2 inch. Then for the buckle, it could be any size. You just, if you want it longer, shorter, you can go for it. But it's 1.5 by 2.5. We do not score this. We fold this gently around our belt. So that way it moves back and forth with ease. Okay, and then for the pages, you are going to need 3 pieces. Oh my goodness, this light is killing me. Let me try this. Bring this up and over. I can't see nothing. Problem, I have this table Cricut light, and the table one will not stay in place. Nope, it's not gonna stay. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay. So this one is 12 by 6 1/4. So again, like we're cutting this at 6 1/4 and then you have 4 3/4 left over. You're going to use that for other stuff. So this is scored at a 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch, 5 3/4, and then 10. And we're doing 3 of these because our pages are made exactly the same. Then next, you're going to, for our Z fold, you're going to cut, and I recommend doing this with me when I get to it and not doing it ahead. So you can either cut 3 pieces, 12 by 6, and then we'll cut the angle together, or you can do one angle, which I have on here. It says the angle goes from 3 1/2 tick mark up to a 6 tick mark. And then we'll do some scoring that I'll talk about here in just a second. But if you do have a 12 by 12 piece, you can do a tick mark at 6, tick mark with your pencil is what I'm saying, at 3 1/2, cut that angle. That leaves you this leftover piece where you can cut another one if you want to save paper and then you have a strip for whatever. I just went for it and just cut my 12 by 12, one of them, because you need 3 of these, at 6. And then I'm going to cut my angle. So it's already 6 inches right here. And I have a tick mark at 3 1/2. So the angle is going to go straight to that. And then we are going to, let me do it on this one, the 6 inch side, we're going to score a 1/2 inch, 4 1/2, and then 8 1/4, yes, 8 1/4, and this goes down to the 3 1/2 side. And 2 gets folded one way, which is this way, and then 1 gets folded this way, so it's opposite. We'll do those together. So I think that is everything other than, let me show you the photo mats. But I do recommend, if you have other cut-aparts and if you have a different like collection you're using and you have other cut-aparts, then wait to do your photo mats if you want to use cut-aparts. But mine, I had a 4 by 4 cut-apart, so I have 3 that are 4 1/8 by 4 1/8. And then I have these which just had white on them, so you could do whatever. But 3 of these that are 3 3/4 by 4 3/4. All right, Shug, I'm coming. I'm coming. You're so bossy. Get your hiney out. Okay, go. Go. Stop it and go. Oh my gosh, you're killing me right now. She just made herself so heavy and would not leave, and the door is open. The problem is she wants the door open so she can pay attention to what I'm doing and what my husband's doing downstairs. That's what she usually goes and lays on the landing. But my husband is so loud. We can't see. Did you guys hear that? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I literally can't. Okay, there she goes. She has to go see what he's doing. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with our pocket piece. And again, the ones that are scored just a 1/2 inch, I'm not going to score with you guys. It's basic. But for the pocket, you would do a 1/2 inch. This is going with the 7 1/2 across the top, and then 7. And then turn it with the 3 and then a 1/2 inch. And that gives us our little pocket. So we're going to go ahead and miter our corners. It's hard to see on white. I usually use black, but we're just going to cut through this intersection here. So I just cut through where the 2 score lines meet. You can do it however you like. There's people who like to cut at an angle, then cut out an angle. That's just too much work. I'm just lazy. Miter. We're just gonna have messes, and then we're just gonna fold on all those lines. And if yours is a little like, it's not a clean fold, it's probably because you didn't miter. See, I need to just trim mine up just a little bit and it'll be a nice clean fold. If I could stay on the paper. That was not good. I think I totally missed the corner. Okay, so that's better. This one, you want them, like ideally the perfect miter is them just kissing. Just a little kiss. But if it's bulky, it's because you didn't cut close enough or there's a lot of overlap. I like to just put adhesive on, oopsie, my bottom down here. That sounded funny. On my bottom. Okay. Whatever you do, I have a lot of shadows going on. Do not go past your seam here. And I cannot see what I'm doing. And it is always best to do a dry fit, but Tiff's just going. Okay, I can still fold my book up, so that's a plus. Okay, is it good? Hopefully it is. Now I'm gonna add some tape. You can, if you wanted to, you could add just a piece to make sure it doesn't get, you know, caught on here like mine did. I talked about it in the, what do you call it? The walkthrough video. But I also just like to add a piece of Scotch tape. I press down on the outer end up here, but not over the seam. It helps things to not get stuck when you're putting your little booklet in and out of the project. So I'm just adding some glue there, very weirdly. Like so. Put that down. There is a lot of interactive moments in this project, but it's a simple project to make. Okay, so now we're gonna build our components that go there. So we're gonna miter these corners at that 1/2 inch score that you're gonna do. Looks like that. So do that with all of these pieces. So this is the 5 1/2 flap, the 5 flap, and then your 2 5 3/4 flaps. It is really hard to see with the white, so I do apologize. Okay. So let's fold all those score lines over. I really need to put a Band-Aid on. It's going to keep catching. There literally is nothing there, but I don't know. Of course, now I don't know where I put my Band-Aid. Oh well, this is such an eventful tutorial. Okay, so fold them all over. We're gonna just do a stacking the pages or stacking the flaps. Now let me just kind of tell you at this point, I had, for my project, I had forgot, because I do my cover first. I put my cover down. I forgot to do my ribbon. So I did put my ribbon underneath this entire element, so and underneath this orange, which you can do. It helps with, you know, when you're opening, you're not pulling on the paper here. But just in case you notice that and you're wondering, normally I put my ribbon on top. So, but if you want yours exactly the way this one is done, you would put your ribbon down right now. Just stacking the 5-inch one on top of the 5.5 to the left. Give it a good burnish. Any excess glue, I like to just clean my project up. Now this one, I do want to do a dry fit. Okay. And if you're somebody who likes things really symmetrical, this will drive you crazy. So I'll just show you really quick. If you do not like yours like this with a 1/4 inch and then a 1/2 inch showing, and you want a 1/4 inch and a 1/4 inch or a 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, you know, something like that, you just would extend the size of your paper. This I have measured to 4 cut aparts. So now I'm just doing a dry fit to make sure I have plenty of room in between for this to open and close, which I do. So we're good there. And I got to this point in the project and I put it in. I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't do the belly band or the belt closure. So now what? And you know, it was literally stuck like this with both of them on there. So that's how this came about. Literally can't. He just came in the room again. I just told him I was filming right before. He probably has something really funny in his mind to tell me. Okay. So that is what that is going to look like. Is that a little crooked? It's a little crooked, so I'm going to clean it up a little bit. Let me just come in here. Sometimes you just gotta clean it up, give things a little trim. I didn't really trim anything off of that because I can't trim that way. Oh my gosh. Shug, stop it. She's being very needy right now. My sweet little baby. Okay. So we have this. Now for the belt. Here's where we are and where I was like, what am I gonna do? You can use magnets, obviously, or you don't have to do anything at all. You don't have to do this at all. This is what it's gonna look like. But all I did, I'm not joking, I was like, okay, well, let's just split the hinge. I did a little miter. I just kind of went up the middle to that score line, and I'm gonna miter it. Like so. That is it. I want to show you right there. And then you put your adhesive on, but when I put it on, I made sure I was in between, and then you just hope it works. So it looks like that. I think I'm gonna miter just a little bit more to give myself a little wiggle room. But it works. As I say, sometimes things don't go as planned. You just figure something else out and go with the flow. Okay, so let's get our glue on there, on our little, what is that called? I want to say like saber tooth, but that's not it. What is snaggle tooth? Goodness, can't. Okay. So I'm just centering it with the split that is already there from my 2 flaps, getting it in place. Now before I make sure it's burnished, I want to make sure my flaps will open okay, and they will. So let's burnish this baby down. I got some excess glue right there. But that is a way to do a split. That was not planned whatsoever. We just go with the flow. See, I always tell you guys all my boo-boos. There's lots of them. Lots of them. Even if one day I figure out how to edit, I'm gonna leave in all of the stuff because I think it's helpful when I see other people figure things out as well. So this is the one where we have it scored at a 1/2 inch and 5/8 of an inch. And that needs to be on the right side. So I'm just gonna fold that first. If you have spacers, you can use your spacers to really help with that, or you can use like your ruler is usually 1/8 of an inch. That really helps get the shape, and then you can get it nice and crispy. So I mitered just up to that first 1/2 inch score line. So now we're gonna put our adhesive there. I don't even know that we need the 1/8 of an inch, but I didn't want to chance it once things started getting put on all these pages. I don't know why I'm doing this right now. Hold on, back it up, wipe it off, Tiff, because I want to put this in first. Now, if I would have did that, it would have still been okay. But I want to line it up, make sure I'm lined up good. So let's put this in. Tiffany's moving too fast. Well, not fast enough for the video. I did just have a message on a video, a really old video. So I was really new at doing YouTube. I mean, I'm still the big goober, but you know, I didn't know exactly what I was doing. It's kind of nerve-wracking when you first start out doing them. And they said I didn't open my book until like 4 minutes and something. Yeah, okay. What do you want me to do about it? And yes, I do have some videos where I'm talking, giving like ideas and talking about what I did, what paper I used, showing the stuff, blah, blah, blah. I get it, people. And I just nicely responded, thank goodness we have a fast forward button, because I don't disagree. But what do you want me to do? Sometimes you could just, you know, you don't have to say stuff. It's not necessary. But like I said, I agreed with the person. And who knows what I said, because I was not going to go back and watch it. I hate listening to myself. I don't know how you guys do it, and I'm so sorry. Okay, so we are going to put this, we have our back pocket. We have our 1/2 inch, just the first 1/2 inch. So I line my stuff up like this, just using the other one as a guide, even though I could tell it was a little crooked. So it's going to go like that. So before I burnish it down, I am going to make sure, turning it around to wipe it on a scratch piece of paper, that I am lined up right here. So I kind of, again, use my hands. I'm going to make sure my little tab is underneath this before I stick it down. Kind of get it into place before I burnish. You have a little bit of wiggle room before everything sets up. There we go. Open it back up. That's on there. Now I'm going to put back into place this little 1/8 inch gusset. Again, I don't know that it's necessary, but we're just rolling with it. Okay, and then you have your piece. Probably going to fold. Sorry, just still trying to get all this glue off. You have your piece like this. And what I do is I make sure my belt is where I want it. So I'm going to do it to where I can hold down both pieces of the belt. And then I'm going to gently fold this over without totally making it tight. So just kind of giving like a sliver extra. And I'm not going to crease that. If you do crease it, it's fine. It still will work. And then I'm going to take the other side. Let me lift it up. And I'm going to do the same thing. right about there. And I'm just kind of testing. I have plenty of wiggle room. If you don't want yours that loose, you can make it a little tighter. I'm gonna add a little bit of adhesive. And the seam is gonna get covered up by whatever ephemera piece you put on there. I'm gonna make sure. I feel like one side is. Oh, it's a little bit. It's a little bit, but again, it gets covered. So what what's most important to me is just burnishing this piece right there. Again, this does not have to be tight. You want it to be loose, like so. And I did round my corners. I'm just gonna do the small one this time. Maybe I did it last time too, I don't even know. So it looks kind of crazy when it's blank without all the paper matting and fun stuff, but it'll be fine. So I typically will put it on, I'm gonna just trim this up a little bit. I like to have the seam up top because that's where I'm gonna stick. Even though on this one, I covered the front and back. So this was a ephemera piece and I covered the back, but you could still see, I don't know if you guys can, but you could see through there. It's not totally creased down. And then I slide it and, oh, one of the main reasons like I like having the seam facing up is because then potentially there's nothing that this one can get caught on. And I mean, there you go. You just have it right there. You can make your belt longer if you want to. Totally up to you. But there is our little belt part. Okay, now the pages. So let's just set this aside for a second. Oh, let's put our little booklet in there. And I am going to round the corners. I'm going to do a big round. Oh, that is not straight. I remember I tried to air fold this. Okay, that's better. Okay, so this goes in a handy dandy little pocket. And it's gonna get stuck right now because I don't have any paper matting in here. There we go. Okay, so we're putting that back there. Now we're gonna get our pages and we're gonna get our scoreboard. We are going to do the same thing for all three. So with the 12 going across, we scored a 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch, 5 3/4, and 10. So do that for all three. Then we're gonna miter. Nope, don't miter the corners. I do have one that's mitered, and I did miter it like 3 times, maybe even on that one. Again, because just habit. But if you remember, don't miter these and just fold. And if you miter them, like I said, it's fine. I covered mine up with the glitter cardstock, so you couldn't see it anyways. I'll have to vacuum after this, flicking all these little corners onto the floor. So it's looking like this right now. Okay, and then we are going to, and once you start putting your book together, if you have to fold it the other way, that's fine. Right now, we just fold it to the left onto itself, and then, and we're gonna have to switch that. Yes, we are. Nope, you're gonna fold it to the right underneath itself. Okay, so right now, looks like this here, and then our pocket gets folded back. It's just, you know, kind of a one sheet wonder. but cutting the sheet. So there we go. This is the hinge that we're putting down. It looks like that. Okay, and so you're going to do that to all three. So I do have all three here. I think we should put let's put our zigzag, our little Z fold on first. So I'm going to get out the cutting board. Well, it is kinda, it's a paper trimmer. I'm just going to show you. I mean, there's really no method. It's easy. So this is the piece that I cut 12 by 6. So that 6 mark is already there. And now I have a tick mark at 3.5. So from the bottom up to 3.5. I'm going to put it in. I want to make sure you guys can see the 3.5. Now my trimmer is sometimes kind of weird. I don't have a ton of leeway, so it might pinch off a little bit extra, and that's okay. Even if I think one of my Z folds was, the mark ended up being 5 7/8 somehow up there. And did I still use it? Yes, I did. I sure did. Okay. Garbage. Okay, so now we look like this. You're going to get your scoreboard and do this to all three. So we already talked about this. I like to flip mine like that. We're going to score with the 6 inch over here. 1/2 inch. Okay, so 1/2 inch. And then we are going to do 4.5. Still going all the way across, and then 8 1/4. Don't ask how. I just start playing and come up with weird measurements. And yes, I just knocked that over. Okay. So you're gonna fold, and 2 of them get folded the same way, and 1 gets folded the other way. So we want 2 where the fold. The first hinge is right there, and we are going to miter this. It looks crazy, but it's so simple. Okay, so right now we're looking like this. Then you fold this back onto itself at that first score mark. And as I go, I just try to make sure I am lined up at the bottom. I kind of have to do it upside down. I don't know why. Okay, so like that. Now here's our next score. Fold that back, so to the left, like that. And this is what we have. So the hinge is folded underneath on the right hand side. Then you're going to take that next score, fold it over onto the top, then the next score over to the left onto the top. Now here is where I said in the video, the walkthrough, or showed, we have, these are pockets right here. I closed this up and just made it into a pocket, but you could just make it into a full accordion style like Z fold and not have a pocket at all. So it's up to you. I just wanted to use those tags, and there was lots of them, so I made a pocket. So now we're going to glue all 3 of these on here. So 2 are going to make sure we have this going the right way. So our 1/4 inch gusset is facing the left, and we are going to put this on the right at the bottom. Oops, not like that. So I'm just feeling it right there, that it doesn't go beyond. Getting it there, lined up on this side. And then we burnish. Like so. So we have our first page. Hinge is right here. Then you can come in. I'm just going to close mine up, not all the way. So I'm going to close up the bottom When I mean all the way, not all the way to the top, because I want a mat still. So I'm just going to put a little bit right here for now, so you guys can see how I close that up. But you do want your bottom closed if you're doing it like me. And then now we have a pocket. So opens and opens like this. There we go. Okay, so that's one page. Now we have another page. It's still going to be exactly the same, but here is where you would flip your hinge, because it's going to stack on top of the other one. So I want to make sure I did the one that I mitered. Yes. So I'm going to stack this on top of the other one. So right now it still is going to do the same thing as the other paper or the other page we did. It's just the hinge is going the other way. Okay. So we want this one now with our hinge that is on the left. The Z opens like this. It is going to go all the way to the spine. So to where our hinge is. And if you're confused, or sometimes it's hard to visualize when we're watching a video to understand, that's okay. Just, you know, rewind it, take your time, and you'll get the hang of it. Or you could just go with it and put it down wherever you want to. But I will show you a few more times, just kind of how they open. So this is going to be page, if I could stop hitting everything, page number 2. So page number 1, the hinge looks like this right now because it's going to go onto our spine like that. That first ½ inch. This one I'm going to bring back out. This one is going to go right on top of it like so, and just still maneuver and do the same thing. But I really, you can make these all three exactly the same if you wanted to. I just kind of, because there was getting to be a lot of bulk right here on the ends, so I wanted to create a little bit of bulk towards the middle to balance my book out. That's really, that's the only reason. That's it. Okay, and let's see. This one, we're going to have fold the opposite as well. Yes, we are. Or we could have did, no, because I need to cover up my little boo-boo. Hold on, let me just see. Yep, we're still sticking with that. It doesn't matter which way the hinge goes as long as you get them down. I just try to do it so there is no hinge poking out this way or this way. Has that happened before where I wasn't paying attention? Yep. And what do? We just go with it. You meant to do that. So let's get our other one on there. Now this one, again, hinges over here. This one is going to go to the right side. And you will close up the pockets. I'm not doing that necessarily on all of these because you guys saw me do the first one. But I do want to show you how I mat the Z fold. If you don't know how to do it, it's really easy, and I'm sure there's several different ways to do it. I have 2 different ways I've done it before that I will show you. I mean, they're both basically the same. It's just more the measuring part. Okay, so we have our 3 pages, and we are going to stick them down. So I basically leave like a 1/4 inch gap before I put it down. I'm just making sure I have that ½ inch. We're going to glue that baby. I do find it easier with these. Let me see if I have one here. To just grab like a paper clip to keep everything closed up while you're trying to get your hinge on there. But you're going to add your adhesive. If you use score tape, I still would add a bead of glue to the score tape to make sure it will not. Glue is like really like very permanent versus score tape, even though score tape is the best hold. I don't care what anybody says, I don't care. So coming in about 1/4 of an inch, you can use your mat if you want to use your mat. I am just eyeballing and I'm not good at it because I can't see a darn thing on this white. Nope, no ma'am, I can't see nothing. But we're just going with it. Looks good enough. Okay, so these on the pages, remember, are 6 1/4 and our book is 6 1/2. So there is 1/8 of an inch top and bottom. So now I have to make sure I get the right one, the one that has our Z fold to the left on the hinge. Oh, did I glue that? No, I did not. Right? I really had to make sure. Okay, so I'm gonna want this one right up to that score line that we just had. So it's gonna be just like that. So again, I'm gonna use my paper clip, keep my little Z fold and back pocket together. And I mean, we're basically done. I'm just showing you guys how to get it into your book. And if you are new to my channel, I do like to, I'm messy with the glue, but I like to make sure the wet glue goes all the way to the edge. So lining it up with the page that's already on there and going up to that first score line. And then that looks good. So before I do a full burnish, I want to see, yep. Voila. Okay, now burnish. Burnish the heck out of that baby. You want a good seal so this baby doesn't go anywhere over time. Okay, so we have that one. You can crease it back into place once you have it all done. Okay, now next we have our other one with no miter, and I want that one to go facing this way so it's clean on this side. So it does take like a, you know, you have to think for a minute to make sure you have everything positioned where it's positioned. And then we just bump this one up against the last page we just put down. It gives us a nice lineup. Sometimes it's fun to not have a hidden hinge system to deal with. Even though I do like the hidden hinge for stability and just making sure everything stays in place for a longer time. But I've been doing this for, oh my gosh, what, 4 years? And I've never had any of my projects come apart. Okay, so bumping it up against this one here, making sure it is lined up with it before put it down. I have my Z fold here to the right, so I now can give it a good burnish. Now on the pockets right here, I just bump this back into place. Okay, for these pockets, I put my paper mat down first, and then I just put glue here and here, just a little bead of glue, or you could do 1/4 inch score tape. But that's what I do right there. You can add magnets to this if you want to have these closed up. Now for the twine, if you are doing yours exactly like mine, I kept, let me just share. You could see I put the twine underneath here because I put it on top first. So right there is where I would put the twine, and then twine. Let's just go ahead and twine. If you want it, you don't have to have it. So I would do twine there and there. So I would get that done, and then I would forget that I didn't do this, the accordion, and I'd go paper mat. So then I had to do it underneath on the back side here. It's okay. we just go with it. I think one of them, maybe it was this one, I don't even know. I feel like one of them I had to lift the paper a little bit and then squeeze that twine in there. I'll do that. I will lift some paper and then just do a little pokey tool. I got black stuff on me. And get it in there, glue it up, make sure it's sealed down, and you're good to go. You're good to go. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. With the tags, I just added some seam binding with the little tiny attacher. You could use wet adhesive. I'm trying to think if there was something else I was going to show. Oh, I was going to show you guys this. So for paper matting, you could do it two ways. So I'm going to do, I think this. Okay. Did I do the, okay. That scared me for a second. I thought I did not do that. So for here, I'll show you guys. It's, I mean, the same method. So this measures, let me try so you can see a little bit better. So this part right here measures 3, is it 4? Maybe it's 4. Where did my ruler fall to? There it is. It is 3 3/4. So then this piece I cut to 3 5/8. So just so you guys can see, so I could slide it in there. I can't right now with the glue that I put in there. But you have that. And yeah, we're going to do it on this one. Sorry, because I glued that pocket. So what I did before I glued the pockets down is this piece measures. So this is 3 3/4, the base. And the tallest point, that doesn't work, is 4 1/4. So I have this piece of paper cut to 4 1/8. So it's 3 5/8 by 4 1/8, the matte part that I want. And what you can do, where is my little tape? I just take my repositional, my favorite repositional. I put it where I want it, like so. It's already, I'm gonna go up a little bit. Now this is not my favorite. I'm just saying this is an option. My favorite is this way that I'm gonna show you here in just a second. So now you see your paper matting, and oops, I didn't do that right. See, gosh, goodness gracious. Go all the way to the very high point of your project. And if you're someone who's like nervous you're gonna make a mistake, then make the paper exactly the size of, you know, the piece you're doing. So it would be 3 3/4 by 4 1/4. Cut your angle off and then trim up as needed. So I took my point of the orange all the way up to my highest point right there. And let's see, I cut that a little weird, but it works. So now let's put that into place just so you guys can see. So see, now you have it perfectly set. Me, because I know I make mistakes. So I will do that. And we could do it right here, but put my repositional down again up to the highest point. Like that. So I'm still doing the same angle method, but then the bottom, I cut the bottom again. So I like to have my paper a little bit longer than what I want it to be. So I have wiggle room. I didn't cut that very good. I'm struggling with the cutting. So I have wiggle room to now come in. Let me get my little trimmer and cut it to 4 1/8. So I have my highest point now, and I'm taking it to the 4 1/8, which is what we want. And I think this is cut down, yes, to 3 5/8 already. And let me try to see here. Okay, so now we have, slipping like this. Now, normally I probably, because I could see I didn't cut this. I don't know if you guys can see, but it's, you know, it's a little bit thinner on the sides, the mat. I don't really care that much, but if you do, you can come back in and just trim off a sliver. Let's see how that works now. You go all the way to the top point of whatever you're doing. So this will be the same thing on this one. This top point is how long your paper mat is. So what is that, 5 inches. So you could cut your mat if you want that like border. You would cut it to 4 7/8. Take the highest corner, or the corner to the highest angle. That's how you always mat these. And I did all the sides. And then for in here, what I did is just literally same thing. You probably, I mean, that probably would have been smarter if I had some cutoffs that were longer. All I did was do, like, I literally took like this amount, just enough to cover up the pocket, and put it in there, glued it, and then I closed up my pocket, and it was like that. But I did the same method. If I was smarter, I would have took whatever was this angle from the pattern paper, flipped it, and made it like that, because it works. Now I'm just rambling and probably confused you guys, but hopefully you get that. If you have questions, please put it in the comments below. I will have the links to the collection if Country Craft Creations still has it. And like I said, I will be doing this next in, I have Christmas Delights out, but I might switch it to Gingerbread Christmas. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. But I do have that because I have that mustache ready to go. But this is, I mean, it's really easy, really easy. So we did that in, you know, a little over an hour. Not too shabby, not too shabby. And I'm just trying to think. Again, I went through all of the matting. If you guys want to know like the measurements of the white, and this is not, the white is part of the solid paper pack. That is 5 3/4, no, 5 3/8, because our book is 5 1/2. By 6 3/8. Oh my gosh, the black glitter is yummy. So the black glitter is 5 1/4 by 6 1/4. If you like to be stingy like me with your expensive cardstock, like glitter, you could take out the middle, which I did. I don't care. I just left like a 1 inch border, maybe even less. I will use that for a mat for something else. But just, you know, it's just a good way to be a little frugal with your paper and be able to use it elsewhere. And then the orange, I think, is 5. Nope, the orange is 4 7/8 by 5 7/8, because I wanted a little bit of the sparkle. You can't see it. I don't think you guys can see what I'm showing, but it was fun. Have the spine here. I love this. I love the pom-pom, the baby pom-pom. That's the baby pom-pom trim. This is gorgeous. So yeah, I will have everything linked in the description box. And thank you guys for waiting for the tutorial, and hope you have fun making it. If you are on Scrapbookers of Country Craft Creations, if you're not, you'll want to join. And you make the project, please be sure to share. Even if you do it exactly the same, we still love seeing your guys' creations and the fun that you have. So please share that on Facebook at Scrapbookers of Country Craft Creations. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.